San Diego Mayor Bob Filner, welcome back to Evening
Thank
Edition.
you.
It's good to have you here. Last night, you laid out some very ambitious plans that included environmental-friendly urban forestry, solar for government buildings downtown. I think a light rail to the airport. Just a myriad of things. One in particular, the new Department for Neighborhoods, for improving neighborhoods. First of all, a lot of plans. How do you plan to pay for those plans?
Well, it's really important, first of all, for a leader of a city, a mayor, to lay out a vision. So people know where we want to go. There's an excitement about it. There's a sense of progress. I think that's the hardest point, that people feel good about the direction we're going. And then how we do it becomes not trivial, but compared to laying out the vision. And
are taxes involved in that?
I have no plans to ask for any taxes. We're a $3 billion operation. I think we have enough money. It's a question of, one, changing priorities. I want to move money, for example, where $200 million has gone downtown. I want to move that into the neighborhoods for neighborhood infrastructure. We can do that. A lot of money goes for advertising of private hotels across the country. Let's move that into public safety, for example. When I talk about...
But just I want to touch a little more on that. Redevelopment money is gone. So where would that, you have some plans for where that money could come from.
But see, that redevelopment money was based on the fact that property taxes went up downtown and that money stayed downtown. Now we're going to get back a lot of that tax money into the general fund. So we're going to shift it from where it was downtown to the whole city and neighborhoods within the city. When I talk about sort of grandiose things, like we're going to solar power all our public buildings within 5 years, I have talked over a long period of time with many solar companies who will upfront the capital costs for such a program, and they get paid off the savings of our energy bill. So it's not going to cost us any money to put it in. We pay for it from the savings. So we can do this. It doesn't, and there's going to be public-private partnerships. There's ways to deal with this. The money is obviously important, but not as important as the conceptual vision about how we're going to move forward.
And moving forward with conceptual vision, you opened, or you will open, I think, in just a few weeks, an office in Tijuana. First time. What is your focus there? Why do you want to do that?
Well, that's going to happen on February 1st. And you know, the city of Tijuana has a municipal office here in San Diego, but we've never had an office in Tijuana. I just think mutual respect and mutual interest. Look, we are tied together. We are the two biggest cities on the border. In fact, we're the biggest metropolitan area, binational metropolitan area in the world. We have a lot to talk about every day, whether it's trade, whether it's relationships, whether it's what happens at the border. So I want to have a staff, people there who can deal with these issues, you know, as they come up. And by the way, we have, you said, well, how much is this going to cost? People are going to say. The city of Tijuana is giving us space in a downtown, I'm sorry, the Economic Development Corporation, as it were, of Tijuana is giving us space in their building right in the center of Tijuana, very accessible and free. So we're going to be able to deal with Tijuana in a much more rapid way, in a much more widespread way, and build up not only our business, but our exchanges of students and art and commerce.
Let me touch briefly on the comparison of the city's financial health to a very ill patient that's recovering. You projected up to a $40 million deficit. What is that deficit based on? What is that projection based on?
You know, when the mayor, previous mayor, who did an incredible job putting us on a sound financial footing, he left thinking there was going to be a surplus, but there are landmines, I call them, down the way that might explode any minute and can project us into a $40 million or more deficit. For example, Prop B, which is the new pension system that was voted on the voters, is going to cost us just $37 million to set up a new system. That was not fully put into the budget. This redevelopment that you mentioned, the state is ruling that certain funds we're going to have to pay that were paid out of the redevelopment. For example, we pay $15 million or so every year for Petco Stadium. that's going to become now part of the city budget.
That we have to plan for. We only have about 30 seconds left, so I do want to get this. You have a plan to work with union and city workers over 5 years to help sort of offset this deficit. Can you briefly explain what that is?
Well, one, I want to have a 5-year contract. That would save a lot of money in and of itself. You don't have to negotiate every year. It gives us a chance to reward employees that have not have any pay raise for the last 5 or 6 years. And it saves money off of our pension debt just because you have the certainty of a contract and not just a projection. So what this is, I want to follow through on Proposition B and my promise not to raise pensionable pay over a 5-year period. Let's get that done. Let's see where we can help employees in other ways, like in healthcare costs, and show that we respect our public employees, but we have to respect the taxpayers' sense of what's appropriate for our city to achieve.
Well, all right, so much more to talk about, but we are out of time. San Diego Mayor Bob Filner, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.